he didn't basically hardly moved. He just sat
Why?
there staring at the floor in a deep concentration to quit smoking. And Friday night, he was a smoker. Monday morning, he never touched a cigarette again.
He just gave it up cold turkey?
Cold turkey.
Huh.
Very intense. He's a very powerful man, very intense. But anyhow, he just gave it up because he was getting emphysema. You know, his lungs are being destroyed by the smoking. And the doctor said, if you don't smoke, you'll die in a couple of years. Don't give up smoking, you'll die in a couple of years. So he sat down at the end of the bed. I remember watching. My mother kept saying, don't talk to him, don't say anything. You know, it's sort of like, it's like, don't break his trance, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Samadhi.
Yeah. And so we didn't, you know, we stuck in the room and peeked at him, but he couldn't see us. I don't think he was aware that we came into the room. He was so.
How old was he then? How old was he then?
When he quit smoking?
Yeah.
In his 50s.
50s, okay. And you were how old? You were 15, 20?
Oh, good God, no, I was about 7 years old.
Oh.
Well, let's say 7 years old. Let's put it this way. My dad was born in the same year as Srila Prabhupada.
1896. Your dad was born 1896.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. And
people are asking.
And I was born in 1943, so it could have been something like 1950 or so, when, or maybe 1948 or 49, when he quit smoking.
Manu Prabhu, you were going to say something, please. Go ahead, real fast.
New people are asking every day for the link on YouTube video. They're asking how to join on Zoom.
Oh, just post the link.
I can't post a clickable. I can't post a clickable link. I mean, I don't know how to post a clickable URL link. You do it.
Oh, I do it. Okay, let me do it now.
It's
Okay, go ahead. Okay, I'll do it now.
Haribol!
Haribol! Here's Rath Yatra.
Haribol.
Just made it home. Sorry for being late.
No,
it's
no,
okay.
We're late.
We're always late. I'm late.
So I was on an aside, we're talking about how long a person is likely to live. Mahaprabhu, how long are your parents still alive?
My father's 95, he'll be 96, and my mother passed away 11 years ago.
So she was in her 80s?
She was 83, about to turn 84.
That's amazing.
And my dad's 95.
Your dad is 95. That's fantastic. Well, may you live to be a Jewish saying, may you live to be 120.
No, I think I take after my mom. About 80, 81, 82, I'm out of here.
Did she have any habits like smoking or anything like that?
I smoked for many years, but we've cut that out.
And did your mom smoke?
No, my mother was a social smoker, but my father was my father's side of the family were heavy smokers.
So your dad was a heavy smoker and he's still alive?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Well, there you go. There go all the statistics out the window. Anyhow, my dad, let's say if I was like, say, 7 years old, that would have put in like 1949 or 1950. My dad was born in 1896. How many years difference is there?
Wow.
Well,
1896.
Yeah, same year as Prabhupada, but different month. My dad was born before Srila Prabhupada in April. So let me calculate here. So 1896. Let's say it was 1900 up until 1949. That would be, he'd be 49 years old. Add 4, he'd be 53.
Hmm.
So he may have, I think he gave up his smoking in the early 50s when the doctor told him if he didn't, he would die. And back in the 50s, you know, they didn't have that much knowledge about the harmfulness of smoke. Marlboro country, it's cool, you know. So and he lived to be 89. When he died of cancer, if he hadn't died of cancer, he probably would have lived until 92 or 93.
Cancer of the lungs?
And my mother lived to be 93.
Cancer of the lungs?
My dad? No, cancer of the liver.
Okay.
It was something to do with, he had had a stroke and stuff like that. So there was some complications.
Oh.
But he had some interesting mental deficiency. He still produced art, but in a very different style than what he had painted during his life. But he painted topics that he never spoke of during his life. These were subliminal memories that he had not remembered, and that he made quite vivid pictures of these memories, some of which he had told me as a child. Anyhow, what we're talking about here, Mahaprabhu, is not my dad so much as what to consider a lifespan would be. So I should just ask you straight on forward, Mahaprabhu, how long do you think we should think each of us will live over the next 9,000? You know, we figured that out.
9,426.
There's 9,465 years left in the golden age of Kali. So how many years? Huh?
Physically or spiritually? Soul.
Spiritually, we're eternal. Spiritually, we don't die. I'm just talking about that little inconvenience called changing bodies.
Tata dehantra.
So
That's
the
my
question
favorite
is,
line.
Spiritually, we are always existing. So no need.
I'm going somewhere with this, so please don't think I'm just gossiping on valuable time. We're trying to establish what it would feel like to take birth for 10,000 years, or 9,465 more years. What would it take? So first of all, how long would we live? What would you say, Mahaprabhu? What would you say an average devotee life should be?
10,000 years.
Huh?
10,000 years.
Well, that's
We calculate
soul,
all
right?
the years we are supposed to live and we submit to Krishna and the plan would be executed.
How many bodies would you take in 9,465 years?
Wow.
Do you think?
Divided by 80.
You would use the word 80? I would too. Ramachandra terrified me by using 60.
60. It's too young. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, let's 9,000. What was it? 9,006. What's the math?
9,465.
I have a
Divided by
question.
80.
9,465.
Divided by 80.
Divided by 80. What do you end up with?
118.3.
118.3 rebirths.
So
Pretty interesting, huh?
Wow.
You'd be in the womb, or maybe only 30 years old at the end. So that's interesting. Okay.
By that time, we should be reincarnated in many different species.
Yeah.
We're going to see it all.
What
Cat
our
to
goal
dog
is not
to bird
we
to
hope,
lizard.
We hope, not us. We want
still
the
gonna wear
different
the
species.
10,000-year-old badge as a goat, as a cow.
Hare Krishna, Banu Krishna Das.
That's a nice cow you have. It looks pretty old. It has gray fur. How old is it? It's 85 years old. What? I didn't know cows could do that, you know. Mahaprabhu, Prabhu, animals will become human, but I don't think humans will become animals.
Why do you say that?
Because animal is a lower birth. If you're a devotee human being, why would you take a lower birth?
What's
You're
a
not
higher
devotees.
birth?
You're
What's
not
a
pure
higher
devotees.
birth?
Humans.
What's a higher birth than human?
Well, there are higher births than humans, but it's not likely we'll take them. Demigod births. Higher planet, but not on this planet. On this planet, the highest birth that I'm aware of is the human birth. The evolved human, not a primitive
Well,
human.
Jadabharata had to take a deer birth, so that in the going by that way, there's a good chance we would be taking animal births also, the next birth.
You say 90 births?
Jadabharata had to take a deer birth in his next life, even though he was a Madhyamadhikari. So going by that case, we would be taking animal births in between also.
Take you 100 births? Did you say? Bhanu, you know you have this amazing way of talking, which is like you're talking into your frontal lobe, and I can't, being deaf, understand what you say. It was fascinating. Okay, here we have people, are we agreeing that people are going to live about 80 years, more or less? And they're going, of course, every time you die, you take another birth, so it's linear. So if you die at the age of 80, you're born a year, 9 months later, and you take another birth and you live another 80 years, 9 months, and you know, whatever. This is rough figures. So, Bhanu, what were you saying? I didn't understand.
I don't know, you're having problem hearing.
So you were saying something about birth. So what were you saying? I was interested, but I couldn't understand what you said.
Prabhu, can you repeat one more time? One more time so I can hear.
Was it
I
clear
stepped
to
away.
others? Was it clear to others what I spoke?
What?
I didn't hear it because I was out of the room. Prabhu, can you say it again?
I mean, Jadabharata had to take a deer birth even though he was on the level of a Madhyamadhikari. Going by that case, we would be taking animal births in our next lifetimes, I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
What did he say?
He said that Jad Bharat, being a Madhyamandakari, took animal births. Judging by that, we'll be taking animal births.
Well,
but Jad Bharat took animal birth because he got attached.
That was accidental birth. He had become, he was a yogi. He was a pure devotee. He was basically in that direction, maybe a Madhyamadikari on the verge of being a pure devotee, but he had become fond of a deer. You know, he was all alone in his cave and the deer comes in. He could pet the deer and feed it and stuff like that. And then the storm comes up and the deer is not around and didn't come into the cave. So he rushes out to find the deer. That is material attachment, you see. He runs out to save his pet deer, even though he's thinking, I'm a yogi and that's just a deer. But because of his loneliness of being by himself in the cave, he became attached to the deer. And when the deer didn't show up, he began to fear for its life, ran outside to keep it from falling off the cliff, which was right there. And he fell off the cliff and died and became a deer because the deer was on his brain at the time of death. So that's not the same thing. What we need to contemplate, and I agree with Bhanu that Jad Bharat was probably a Madhyamadikari of a rather advanced sort at the time that he died, which just tells you even the Paramatma gives you permission to chase after a deer, don't do it.
I mean, he was only attached to the deer, only one thing, but we are attached to the family, the wife, the children, the many things are attached.
No, he had nothing. He was living in a cave. He was completely renounced. He had no
No.
family.
He had only one attachment, and that only one attachment made him took birth as an animal. But we have so many attachment. I'm saying. I mean, if we are
but
married,
remember,
we are attached to the wife. We are attached to the
he
kids.
wasn't attached. He didn't intend to be attached to the animal. It just turned out that way. Why? Because he was not attached to the deer, but
Yes.
his attachment was his fear that the deer might have fallen off the cliff. So it wasn't that he was attached to the deer, but that he was thinking about the deer at the time that he died.
Yeah. Whatever things go into it, but eventually he was thinking. If you're thinking toward the you're spending a lot of the time thinking about the deer, means that is attachment.
I'm sorry, once again.
If you're thinking lot of the time about
He
the
was
deer,
thinking-
For the sake of all of us, please speak slowly and carefully, because you're speaking into the ether, and unfortunately, that's higher plane than I can listen in. So go ahead. What did you say? Do you understand the distinction of Jad Bharat? He was a yogi in a cave, a devotee yogi. He was a bhakta. He was a madhyamadikari. He was practicing austerity. But the deer kept on visiting him, which was okay, except that inadvertently, even though he was essentially a pure devotee, or on the verge of being an uttamadikari pure devotee, or some sort of pure devotee, madhyamadikari is also pure devotee, or can be, the deer being there, he would welcome seeing the deer because he was lonely. I mean, he's all by himself. And he shouldn't have been lonely. He should have only been thinking of Krishna. And if he's lonely, look for Krishna, not for the deer. But he felt fondness for the deer. And he then went out looking for the deer when it was in the storm. And he fell off the cliff. But it wasn't that he was attached to the deer like a pet dog or something. He a little bit like that, but he was attached to his. He was not. He was attached as much as he was thinking about the deer. That's the way it's described in Shastra. He was thinking about the deer when he died. Just like Ajamil was thinking about his son Narayan. And when he was dying, and they saw the Yamadutas coming to get him, and he was terrified, he screamed to his son because he wanted his son to rescue him. Narayan, Narayan! Immediately when he cried Narayan, the Narayanadutas came and took him away, not the Yamadutas. So he was delivered by screaming Narayan, even though it was his son. So by being attached to his son, but if he'd given that deer the name Krishna, then he would have cried out Krishna into the storm, and when he fell off the cliff, he would have encountered Krishna, but he didn't. He was crying out for the deer. I don't know if he had a name for the deer, probably, but whatever it was, he was thinking about the deer. Does it make sense? Are the distinctions all clear?
I mean, which Uttamadhikari has taken birth again? I mean, which Uttamadhikari envisioned taking birth again and again to deliver the souls?
Oh yeah, sure. The Uttamadhikari, why not? Why shouldn't the Uttamadhikari take 1,000 births if he can deliver the fallen souls?
Not why should
special.
Who has done it in the past? Who has done it? Name one. Name three.
Name three. I can't think of anyone. But the Uttamadhikari, I mean, can we not understand that many of the acharyas in our sampradaya had come before as acharyas? Are you suggesting that as soon as the person becomes an Uttamadikari, that they can no longer stay in the material world or take another birth in the material world?
No, I asked the question. Uttamadikari has come again and again, like some 100 lifetimes, which you are telling. So which
The only
Uttamadikari
example,
births?
the only example I can think of is Srila Prabhupada. He was born an Uttamadikari.
So
That means he was an Uttamadikari in his previous life. He didn't become an Uttamadikari.
Nitya Siddha. Come from the spiritual world, Nitya Siddha.
Well, in the spiritual world, needless to say, everyone is an Uttamadikari. Correct?
So Prabhupada is also has taken birth again right now. Is there another person right now? What is that? What you meaning to say?
Well, the Paramahansas, you remember that story about the four beings that came to see a sage, an exalted sage, and to get benedictions? And the king came and the sage said, "You should live forever." And the king was pleased. And he said, "Why should I live forever? Because you are surrounded by wealth, beautiful queens and women, children, courtiers. You're living the life of a king. So you should live like that forever." The king was pleased. And he said, then the sage said, "Because after you finish your life as king, you'll be lucky if you become a servant or a beggar in the palace in which you're now the king, because you will have used up all of your good karma. Being a king, you will have nothing left and you will have only can be beggar."
When I ask a question, it doesn't give you the freedom to speak about any subject. Stick to the.
But there's others too. The brahmachari, you know the story, right? But the brahmachari, which is also for the recording, the brahmachari comes and young, handsome, healthy young man.
Say it again.
What's all the noise?
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, Molly's here.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Young man, brahmachari, and the sage said, "You should die immediately." You could imagine the look on the face of that handsome young fellow who was a brahmachari. And he said, "Why should I die?" "Because you're pure, you're chanting, you're living in pure spiritual life. If you die now, your perfection will be there. But if you live longer, you may fall into sinful practices, habits, and whatnot, and not become delivered in this lifetime. But now, if you die, you will become delivered right away because you're so austere." Okay, and then the next one, there was a butcher, and he said to the butcher, "Neither live, neither die. Your life is hellish by butchering now. And when you die, your life will be hellish for having butchered. So you better not live, you better not die. You're a very unfortunate person." Then he said to this Paramahansa, he said, "You may live or you may die." This is the point that we're making about Jadbara. You may live or you may die. Why? Because living, you're Uttamadikari, you're completely Krishna conscious. And if you die, you will again be Uttamadikari, completely Krishna conscious. So it doesn't matter if you live or if you die. So I've given out, I didn't have 3 examples, but I've come up with 2. Are they okay for you, Banu?
I mean, it's a matter of individual choice, freedom. You can't force everyone to stay along and take birth for 10,000 years. If you want to do it, you do it, but you don't force it upon others to take birth in the 10,000 years.
No, not force.
Everyone come on, let's take birth.
Yeah, no, I understand that, Banu. Let me ask you a question. May I ask you a question? May I ask you a question?
Didn't answer my
Okay,
question.
question-
Which
question is this.
Uttamadhikari? Which Uttamadhikari
Supposing
has
you-
taken birth again and again? Two births.
Okay.
Tell me. Which Uttamadhikari has taken two births?
Why would he take birth? Why would an Uttamadhikari take birth again and again?
Yeah. Answer.
Why? Oh, you want the answer? Because the Uttamadhikari is in his rasa with Krishna, right? Eternal rasa with Krishna. Is that true? Isn't that the definition of the Uttamadhikari? He's lost all he's regained his spiritual form. We have no spiritual form right now. We're just little dots of light or energy or whatever. Sat, Chidananda dots. But if we become Uttamadhikari, it's gradually the Madhyamadhikari evolves into his spiritual body by giving up all material desire and then performing direct service to Krishna. He takes on a spiritual body. Now, in that spiritual body, curtain of Maya rolls up. He sees Krishna face to face. He's under the protection of Yoga Maya. Why would such a person take birth after birth in the golden age of Kali?
You should be answering it because you are the one who's saying all the Uttamadhikaris keep on taking birth and keep delivering.
No, but why would he do it? He would not do it by himself. It would have to be the rasa with Krishna and him agreeing to do that for the purpose. Just like Prabhupada didn't have to come to the material world, he agreed to come to the material world. And the same can be said for all the acharyas in our sampradaya. They didn't have to come here. They were not sinful men that became advanced by chanting. They were pure devotees when they came. They took birth as pure devotees. They didn't evolve into pure devotees.
So when
they
did
were
the last
Uttamadhikaris when they came. So why did they come?
When did the last agreement take place?
What?
Agreement between the Uttama. When did the last agreement take place? When the agreement between the Uttamadhikari and Krishna. So that
Bhanu,
they take.
Please slow down your speech. It sounds like a machine gun, sort of, you know?
My God.
Please slow down and tell me what you want to say.
I'm speaking normally. I have to make an effort to speak something out of the way.
Is this Bhanu?
Hare Krishna.
Is that Bhanu speaking?
Yes, yes.
I can understand you speaking like this for sure. So now, what is it you want to
Bhanu,
say?
slow down. Slow down, Bhanu, please.
Well, he just did, and I could understand him perfectly.
Ah.
The acharya in our sampradaya was a uttama adhikari before life of becoming acharya. Do we agree on that?
Can you say again?
Okay. Like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Gaur or Bhaktivinoda Thakur, before they became birth in Bengal, they were Uttama Adhikaris previously, no?
They were Nitya Siddhas. They came from the spiritual world. That was I believe that was their first birth.
You don't know it was their first birth. We don't know if it was their first birth. All we know is they came from the spiritual world.
First birth in the sense that the immediate previous birth isn't there.
Okay. Are you saying that what you're saying is they only come once from the spiritual world, not more than once?
They might come anytime, any number of times. I'm saying they're not like the individual jivas. There's a progression of every lifetime.
Are you saying that Rupa Goswami is not a jiva?
But the jivas, he's a nitya jiva.
Yeah. In the spiritual sky, he's a manjari, but here he's a jiva, no?
Yes.
From that, I think we have to conclude that manjaris are jivas. very elevated jivas. All right. So if the jiva, let's say Rupa Manjari, wants to come down as Rupa Goswami, can he do that more than once in different forms?
He can, but did he?
Yes. Now, would you agree that Arjuna is an Uttama Adhikari?
We're talking about Uttamadhikaris coming from the spiritual world and delivering souls. But we are already there in the material world. We are not even Kanishta Adhikari. We are trying to become Madhyamadhikari and then Uttamadhikari. And then after becoming Uttamadhikari, we are trying to deliver the soul and soul. There's a different context here.
Prabhu, everyone in the spiritual sky is an Uttama Adhikari. Uttama Adhikari is not a step towards residency in the spiritual sky. It is your rasa with Krishna.
So
the Uttamadhikari is in his rasa with Krishna.
How many Uttamadhikaris took a birth after in the next life? Did Rupa Goswami take another birth after his life?
Maybe yes, maybe no. Are you saying that he could not or would not?
He can, but did he? If he did take, he would be another Uttamadhikari in his next life and we would be knowing it. Same applies with Bhakti Vinod Thakur, same applies with Bhakti Saraswati, Siddhanta Swami Maharaj.
That he would, Prabhu, you're assuming that he would become an Uttamadhikari after Lord Chaitanya on earth, right? What if he became an Uttamadhikari somewhere else, on a different planet?
That goes into speculation, but we are talking about being an Uttamadhikari.
Speculation to say that he, look, how about Arjuna? Would you say Arjuna is an Uttama Adhikari?
No, we cannot compare with Nitya Siddhas, we are Nitya Baddhas.
No, Bhanu, you're doing it again. Can you slow down, please, sir?
No, they are Nitya Siddhas and we are Nitya Baddhas. Condition being visa, then Nitya Siddhas there.
Is Arjuna a conditioned soul or a liberated soul?
Liberated soul.
Does that mean he's an Uttama Adhikari?
Yeah.
Do you know that Krishna and Arjuna are appearing all over the place? Most people, most jivas are limited to how many manifestations? 3 or 5 or something like that. Simultaneous manifestations of their soul. A jiva can, Uttamadhikari jiva can manifest several times at the same time. Except Arjuna can unlimited times because he travels with Krishna. The Narayan Rishi, and Narayan, after whom I was named, because he named people after their opposites, and Krishna and Arjuna manifested as Narayan. Nara means Arjuna, Nara means human, Narayan is Vishnu, Nara or Krishna, Narayan means Krishna and Arjuna. But they appeared as the Narayan Rishi and Vajrana. But how many other places do Krishna and Arjuna manifest? They manifest in gazillions of places, hundreds of millions of places. And Arjuna never stops being an Uttamadhikari where he manifests. Why is it Uttamadhikari? He's a person in his rasa with Krishna. Why are you saying that he cannot go to earth more than once?
Well, who took another birth? Who tell me?
Slow down. Bhanu, slow down.
What slow down? Speaking normally, and if you're not able to understand it.
Understand what?
Which Uttamadhikari took another birth, the next life of an Uttamadhikari? Tell me. Unless they have completed the stage, unless they have completed the journey to do
Arjuna,
it.
every
devote.
time Arjuna takes a birth, he's an Uttamadikari.
Arjuna is already an Uttamadikari. There was no progression of Arjuna to become an Uttamadikari. You tell of a person.
Bhanu, slow down. You want to express yourself, but to who? To the echoes? Express yourself to me. I want to hear what you're saying, and I can't understand what you're saying. You get carried away, you know? You're brilliant, you're a genius, but you do get carried away. So go ahead.
Slow down.
Arjuna is an Uttamadikari. Arjuna is a Nityasiddha. You cannot compare people like us to Arjuna.
What are you saying? Can you make it very slow and clear? Arjuna is an Uttamadikari, you said, I think.
No. Arjuna is a Nityasiddha. He comes from the spiritual world to take part in Krishna's pastimes, and he goes everywhere as wherever the Bhagavad Gita has to be told.
What is his tattva? What is Arjuna's tattva?
No, we can also do the same. We can become an Uttamadikari and we can go back to the spiritual world. And then wherever Krishna wants, Krishna appears in the material world, we can also come with Krishna and join in his pastimes, in delivering the world.
Yeah, but what if you come to the material world as did Prabhupada? He didn't come with Krishna in his threefold bending form. He came with Krishna in his heart. Correct?
Prabhupada, you cannot compare to the Shaktivesh avatar, Prabhupada.
Slow down.
Prabhupada is Shaktivesh avatar. Prabhupada appeared in the parampara as an acharya.
Yes.
If you want to spread the movement, you can become an Uttamadikari. You can go to Goloka, and then if Krishna wants you. I didn't complete my sentence.
So you say Prabhupada is not an Uttamadikari?
My God. No.
Yes or no? Was Prabhupada an Uttamadikari?
No, Prabhupada is a Nitya Siddha. Krishna wanted him to go to the material world and spread the Krishna conscious movement. He was
You're not going by Bhavananda's memory. Are you going by Bhavananda's memory?
Don't put tax on it. Yesterday you called me Mayavadi and now you're saying Bhavananda.
Where did you learn that Prabhupada came from the material world to planet Earth?
I'm just
Where
saying
is it written?
And you're saying the opposite.
Where did you read it? Or did you hear him say it?
You can't hear me. How can I argue?
Bhavananda said it, but Bhavananda poisoned Prabhupada. So do you have a better authority than this murderer? How did Prabhupada manifest in the material world? And is Prabhupada an Uttamadikari or something else?
It's more than Uttamadikari. He came from the spiritual world. He's a Shaktivesh avatar. He's the Senapati of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay. If you come from you also came from the spiritual world, right?
But it's not the same as Prabhupada coming from the spiritual world. We're conditioned.
What's the difference? What is the difference?
My soul is conditioned by Maya, and Prabhupada's soul. Prabhupada is, even though he's in the material world, Prabhupada, he is in his rasa with Krishna.
Well, of course, because he's an Uttamadikari.
Yeah.
Right? Are you saying Prabhupada is not an Uttamadikari?
Never said that.
You did say that or you didn't say that?
No, I never said that.
Okay, you did not say that Prabhupada was not an Uttamadikari. So that means he is an Uttamadikari, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it matter whether the Uttama Adhikari takes birth again and again on earth, or it comes only from the spiritual sky? And how do you know Prabhupada came from the spiritual sky? Where did you read that? Or did you heard him say it in a lecture?
So you tell me, did Prabhupada come from another world other than the spiritual world? Did you read something like that?
Do you know where Prabhupada came from?
You tell me, if you know that he has come from another universe, you tell me with source and proof.
It's not the point. The Uttamadhikari, the Kanistadhikari is a fallen conditioned soul is like a dog or a cat. When you finally get to the human form and you can start to understand things, if you surrender to Krishna, you can become Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi, Chitta Veda Veda Tattva, simultaneously one and different than Krishna. This is an upward evolution of the soul after many, many births to become the Uttamadhikari. I mean the Kanistadhikari. Once you're Kanistadhikari, you can progress to the Madhyamadhikari, which is where you gradually remember and obtain your.
I just want to associate an Uttamadhikari. Give me Prabhupada and I'll associate with him.
Anyone who has attained their Swarup in relation to Krishna in mood of reciprocal love is an Uttama Adhikari. So if you say Prabhupada is in a reciprocal relationship of love with Krishna, then it could be said he's an Uttama Adhikari. Are you trying to put limits on where an Uttama Adhikari can appear? And I'm putting forward the idea, you can prove me wrong, that there are no limits on where an Uttamadhikari can appear. The example is Arjuna. He appears wherever Krishna wants him to appear. Right? He doesn't have to, but he does so because he's in that sort of rasa with Krishna. Krishna appears, Arjuna appears with Krishna. Yes? So what are you actually trying to say? Because I can't make head or tails out of what you're trying to say.
I mean, you have to stick to the point.
Is there any
topic?
Are you saying there's a limit? You're interrupting me, of course, but is there any limit to the number of births that Uttamadhikari can take on planet Earth?
That's not the point. The Uttamadhikari can take any number of lifetimes, but which Uttamadhikari took, you tell me.
But you were objecting to that idea.
Okay, if you want to take, you take it. No one is. If you become an Uttamadhikari and you want to take so many n number of lifetimes, 1,000 lifetimes, then you take it, and no one can object to it because you are an Uttamadhikari.
Yes, and I'm suggesting that is the goal of the League for 10,000 Years, is to take, even you get to be an Uttamadhikari in 7,000 years from now, if it takes that long to become an Uttamadhikari. 7,000 years from now, if you become an Uttamadhikari, will you go back to Godhead in your rasa with Krishna, or will you and Krishna in your rasa with Krishna stay here to deliver the fallen souls? That's the point, you see. Will you stay here to deliver others, or will you go back to, will you go and live in Krishna Loka?
Uttamadhikaris who have previously come, going back that way, maybe they are experiencing so much pleasure. It's like separation from Krishna, whatever reasons, they didn't take birth again. They didn't take birth again for some reason. So it's in all probability, they won't be taking so many births.
Bhanu, you're screeching again. Can you talk normally? Slowly, thoughtfully.
How the discussion goes, that's how we speak.
Okay. Are you saying that a Uttamadhikari taking birth like Prabhupada is not in his rasa with Krishna.
No, stick to the point. Why are you rephrasing the subject?
Yes or no? Prabhupada was in his rasa with Krishna or not?
He was.
Okay, thank you. If rasa, he's in his rasa with Krishna, what if he took another birth in a material planet, or even in this one? What if he took another birth? Would he be a pure devotee of Krishna?
Yes.
In his rasa with Krishna?
Yes.
Then what is your objection? What is your objection?
Okay, in that case, after becoming an Uttamadhikari, I'll go to another universe, I'll take birth. Why
Whatever.
Having given
Is
the
there
association
anything?
over here, I'll take
Now let's get down to the
association in another universe then.
Banu, you're screeching again. Can you please talk sadhu to sadhu sort of talk?
I have given my association over here, so I'll give my association somewhere.
Let's be equal in this conversation. You be equal to me, I'll be equal to you. When you're going, it's like you're somewhere else, superior to everybody or something like that. So why not stick with the main idea? Supposing that you, Banu, become an Uttamadhikari in X number of years on planet Earth. You will be in your one-on-one relationship with Krishna, correct? If you become an Uttamadhikari, that means you're in your rasa with Krishna, meaning it's an ongoing conscious relationship. Is that true in your world? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Supposing Krishna and you say there are a lot of fallen souls here that have not yet been delivered. And Krishna says, well, Banu, would you like to deliver them? And Banu says, would you like to come with me and we'll deliver them together? And Krishna says, let's go, let's deliver them right now, as many as we can. And because I'm Krishna and you're Uttamadhikari, just see how easy it will be, better than if you're just a Kanisadhikari trying to do your best. So if you're an Uttamadhikari, can you not then have causeless mercy? Causeless mercy means Krishna's mercy. It also means mercy of the spiritual master. So you would be automatically spiritual master, not giving diksha, not this, not that necessarily. What you'd be doing is speaking so eloquently to the fallen souls that they will all want to go back to Godhead.
If you go by that way, why isn't Lord Chaitanya right now there?
Slow down.
Why isn't Lord Chaitanya there right now and giving the same Krishna Prema, distributing it freely to everyone?
You don't think he is?
Yeah, I don't think the same thing is there. He was doing Krishna Prema, right? Everyone was getting Krishna Prema. It's not the word. It's not that you're
Prema.
They were
Namo Mahabharanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Is there a difference between Pradayate and Krishna himself?
I don't know what you're telling me. Pradayate means?
Krishna Pradayate means gift from Krishna. Krishna Prema Pradayate means you are giving the gift of Krishna Prema, meaning Uttamadhikari, right? So if Lord Chaitanya is giving Krishna Prema to you because you're chanting Hare Krishna, and that's the inevitable outcome of chanting Hare Krishna is Krishna Prema, right?
I'm not talking about the end point which is going to come after. Let me complete. I'm not talking about
I can't understand what can you slow down?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Krishna Prema then and there. Within the next second, he met someone within the touch. Within the moment, the people that got his association, they were engrossed in Krishna Prema over there. Are we getting the same thing right now?
Oh, no. So you're saying that Lord Chaitanya cease to exist after giving Krishna prema?
No, I don't want to phrase questions. I mean, whatever you're telling me, I'm just making my point over here.
Well, you don't think Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, is present with us today?
It has decreased as it
Huh?
come down from the parampara, and
Then he vanished. He went away, no more to be seen, right? He doesn't exist anymore.
no.
Are you saying?
Why isn't the same Krishna prema available? When Lord Chaitanya was there, it was being Krishna prema was.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
where
Can I ask you-
was given it like some piece of cakes freely.
Let
I mean,
me
they were
ask you a
getting it.
let me ask you a question. Is there any difference between Krishna prema and Lord Chaitanya?
No, answer the question. Why do you want to make me fall into a trap by asking some questions?
It's not a trap. It's a realization of perfection. If that's a trap, then get trapped immediately. What is your question then?
We're not getting, I mean, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Krishna prema to thousands, and everyone was drowning. All the devotees were drowning, and the non-devotees were floating in the ocean of Krishna prema. That's it. It's not.
Okay. So where's the trap?
Is that happening right now? It's not happening right now. It was happening then. So
It's not happening. It's not happening right now.
So
You're saying
who in the
meaning of
line of
the
parampara?
Mahamantra,
Who in the line of
Krishna-
parampara
what?
did? Who in the disciplinic succession did?
Srila Prabhupada, right? Shall we say Srila Prabhupada? Following Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati? Following
No one was
Gorka-
able to give the Krishna prema. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't take the trouble to take another lifetime and give it to the next generations.
Another lifetime? He's God. He doesn't have to take another lifetime. He's eternal.
Okay, he's eternal. Now give me Krishna prema then.
He is Krishna Prema.
Give me Krishna prema.
What? You say Lord Chaitanya is not Krishna Prema?
He is Krishna prema. Give me Krishna prema, I'm asking. Get me Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and
Chaitanya didn't just
give me Krishna prema.
He is non-different than his own name, the Hare Krishna mantra.
So it's
there's no difference between.
Predated. I'm not talking about
this is not
predated. It's going to happen after
Bhanu,
10,000.
you make it sound like this is a mechanical situation limited by time and space.
That
it's
is
not
what you are
mechanical.
making it sound. It should be instant. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did it, then it should also happen right now.
He is. Through the Mahamantra. Krishna Prema Pradayate means he's in the sound vibration of the Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna.
Otherwise, how can he give something if he doesn't?
Ram, Hare Hare. So
that's
I just chanted the Maha Mantra.
What happened to Ramachandra?
Did I become an Uttamadhikari?
What?
Did I get the pure love of Godhead? Because
Where's Ramachandra?
I think I'm here. I'm listening to the conversation.
Well, why not jump in? I mean, do you understand the difference between what I believe to be the difference between what Bhanu is saying and what I'm saying? Is there a difference or not?
Yes, there's Bhanu Prabhu is saying that or once one becomes a pure devotee, and if Krishna wants him to come back, he will come back. But if he doesn't want, then he will not come back. So you cannot say or force anyone to come back life after life to deliver others. That's what he's saying. Is that what you're saying, Bhanu?
Yeah.
Is that what he's saying?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Okay. I at no point said that Uttamadikari is being forced anywhere. What I did say, and apparently Banu didn't catch that point, is that it would be an agreement between him and Krishna in his rasa with Krishna.
I mean, let that happen. Why do you, Prabhu, have to bring it up?
He's
If it,
squeaking again.
let it happen. If Krishna says that to the Uttamadikari, then it will happen. We don't need to have to bring it in the initial stage of devotion.
Banu,
That
do you
idea,
understand? I can't understand a single word that you're saying.
I don't know. That's your problem then. Everyone is understanding what I'm saying.
Not at all. If you want me to hear, speak in a normal tone of voice, not shrieking, not shouting. Why not talk normally, like to an equal, not an inferior? You're treating me like an inferior person. Why?
No, I'm not rating. I'm just speaking.
Banu Prabhu,
Yeah,
please,
no.
can you say it slowly? Like, slowly. Like,
Otherwise, I feel that he's treating me like a servant or slave.
Actually, you are treating it that way because you're not answering sticking to what I'm saying, but you're running around the bushes.
I cannot understand what you're saying. I just asked Ramachandra, and he said what he thinks you were saying, and I have to say that he's in a better position to know what you're saying than I am, because I can't understand what you're saying. But he was saying that if there's an agreement between Krishna and the Uttama Adhikari to take another birth, then you can do that. Is that what you said, Ramachandra?
yes, and he's saying that you cannot force it to anyone. If Krishna agrees, and right, if Krishna agrees with that person, then he will do it. If not, then you cannot force it. Or
But did I ever use the word force? Did I ever use the word force?
Banu Prabhu, are you saying force or no? Or am I repeating it incorrectly?
I mean, we
force.
can call it devotee association or sadhu sangha, but you're practically saying everyone, let's take 10,000 births, 10,000 years,
He's saying
150 lifetimes. You're forcing it.
I think he has a problem with the name, the League for 10K years, is that it seems like anyone who comes on this, and when we say League for 10K years, people are being told that, hey, you will have to come back, and this is what you'll have to do.
I never said that. Remember how we came to this point, Ramachandra, was saying, how long will it take? How many births will it take to become an Uttamadikari?
Yes.
Is that force? Where do you want to go? You want to take your next birth in some other planet without Lord Chaitanya, without the holy name, without 10,000 years? Where do you want to be born next time? Somewhere else? Go ahead. Take birth somewhere else. But where do you want to be born?
You're making it, I mean, you're making theories and you're making it sound that you're making theories and coming up with assumptions that this is the solution, this is the conclusion.
I'm not assuming anything. I'm trying, without much luck, to try to understand what you mean. Ramachandra, are you there?
Nothing
yes,
is
I'm
there.
listening.
Nothing is there in our control.
Ramachandra.
Yes.
Could I have a small window to make a clear statement so that no one will misunderstand what I'm saying?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. But let me just ask a question first. Is there any reason for us to take birth on some other planet during the next 10,000 years if we're
That
not
is not point of discussion. We don't know what life you are going to take birth in the next life, what kind of birth, in which universe you are going to take birth.
He's saying that you do not know what type of birth will take, what universe you will take birth in. Banu Prabhu is saying that. What else you're saying, Banu Prabhu? You do not know.
How many universes, how many planets and universes is Lord Chaitanya presently on?
Banu Prabhu,
I think unlimited.
It's not written in Shastra that Lord Chaitanya has come in only in this universe. He might have taken birth in another universe
what-
also, after coming in this universe.
So what does it say in Shastra about Lord Chaitanya?
What's
My
said
reading
in the
of Shastra, my reading of Shastra says that Lord Chaitanya is one of the least frequent manifestations in the universe. He doesn't appear on every planet all the time. He
But that's
doesn't
not
appear on
point,
this
though.
planet more than once. We're in a very rare spot with Lord Chaitanya. He is Radha and Krishna that came to Bengal on this planet only a few hundred, less, a few, 500 and what, 36, 500 and
46
535 years ago,
or 35.
Lord Chaitanya appeared on this planet. How many other planets is he currently on with our material universe?
Okay, we will appear in this universe itself, but we don't know what species we are going to take birth. What kind
Okay,
of
do you
life?
want to take a, Banu, let me ask you a question. Do you want to take a birth in a place where Lord Chaitanya has not appeared?
I just
In
said we will take birth in the place where Chaitanya appeared. Going back again.
Where do you want to take birth? With or without Lord Chaitanya?
With Chaitanya.
This is confusing. Banu, do you want to take your next birth without the holy name and without Lord Chaitanya?
Where is the conversation going? I mean,
we're talking about delivering every jiva in the next 9,465 years. We're talking about delivering every jiva on planet Earth in that period of time because Lord Chaitanya came here and delivered us. If Lord Chaitanya hadn't delivered me or you or Ramachandra, we would become cockroaches in our next life.
We didn't get delivered. Did we get delivered? We're in the process of being delivered. That's what we are trying to give. The same.
The process of, is there any difference between the process and being delivered?
Everyone is delivered in the ISKCON or in that case also. If you go by that way, everyone in the ISKCON movement is delivered because they have taken the name of Krishna, and even the non-devotees are delivered. They taken the name of
where
Krishna.
will they take their next birth? Neophytes. How about the Kanista initiators? Where will they take their next birth?
There's nothing written in the Shastra about which birth and what would be your next birth. Depends on what you're doing and what you get attached. You don't know. We don't know what after 10 years what will be your situation.
You see
whom
that
you are going to get attached to.
Do you want to take your next birth in the movement of Lord Chaitanya or somewhere else? You, Banu. Do you want to make birth as a devotee of Lord Chaitanya or not?
To answer that point on a broad scale, we need to maintain all the desires we are maintaining throughout the life without getting any material desire, any material attachments or any desires.
No, leave that alone. Suppose you died tomorrow with all your material attachments still on board. If you died tomorrow, would you like to be born as a disciple or devotee in the Krishna consciousness movement of Lord Chaitanya or somewhere else doing something else? You have a choice. Which would you choose?
Yeah, Lord Chaitanya, in the moment of Lord Chaitanya.
Huh? Would you like to be reborn as a disciple of Lord Chaitanya again?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And if you're not a pure devotee at the end of your next lifetime, how many lifetimes do you want to be a devotee of Lord Chaitanya until you say, no, I don't want to do this anymore?
No one knows that. No one knows
You know it. You know how many births you would be willing to take as a disciple of Lord Chaitanya?
I would be willing to take. It's entirely my choice.
You have a choice. If you really don't want Lord Chaitanya, you can be born on Shiva Loka and live with Shiva. Why not?
Well, I would go back. I would like to go back to Godhead within this lifetime.
Well, how are you going to do it? How are you going to become an Uttamadhikari in this lifetime?
Yeah, you were asking how many lifetimes would you go? What was your question beforehand?
Well, I would rather, right now, I would rather say, how many births are you going to take birth as a Kanistha Adhikari until you take birth as a Madhyama Adhikari? How long will it take for you to completely become free from material desire so that you can enter into the Madhyama Adhikari platform?
No
if you want to go back to God in this lifetime, how do you do it?
No one knows the answer to this question.
I do. I know the answer to the question. You will go back to Godhead when you've perfected the Madhyama Adhikari platform. When you're in your Swarup, in Krishna Loka, with Krishna, that's when you go back to Godhead.
That we know.
And you want to
but
do
you were asking how many lifetimes would it take
okay, you want to do it in this, so you want to do that in this lifetime, right? You want to become an Uttama Adhikari in this lifetime.
Everyone wants to become Uttamadhikari within this lifetime, but most possibly it won't happen for everyone.
It won't happen. It will take quite a few lifetimes. Practically speaking, it will take quite a number of lifetimes. How soon are you ready to become a Madhyama Adhikari?
I mean, these are not questions which are point of discussion, because then the answers cannot be given for such questions.
Okay, can you do that? Can you complete being a Madhyama Adhikari in this lifetime and realize your rasa with Krishna in this lifetime? Are you planning to do that? You say you want to go back to God in this lifetime. How are you going to do it? Unless you're a Christian.
I mean,
you die and go to heaven. But how are you going to become an Uttamadhikari in this one present lifetime? 60 years from now, when you leave your body or whatever, will you be an Uttama Adhikari?
I desire to be an Uttamadhikari. I mean, how do you become? I don't know the way. I don't know.
Well,
step one,
first,
step two, step
so
three,
if
step
you,
four.
if you want
Not
to,
a mechanical process.
If you want to know the way, then you have to get started learning. But right now you're fighting. You're saying, I want to go back to God in this lifetime, but you can't even begin to describe how you're going to do it. Prabhupada told me.
Tell us the way.
Prabhupada told me specifically how it's done. Kanistha, then Madhyam, then Uttama.
That everyone
You're
knows.
saying you don't know, right, Banu?
Progression from Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttamadhikari, that everyone knows. I mean, you have been
Okay,
speaking.
so how quickly can you perfect the Madhyama Adhikari platform?
I mean, once we reach the Madhyamadhikari platform and we know where in the Madhyamadhikari platform we are on, then we can answer that question.
Well, what platform are you on right now, would you say?
Same as shown in the group.
I want to know how to make it act as quick as possible.
How quickly as possible is a matter of your relationship with Krishna advancing beyond the relativistic horizontal platform of Kanistha Adhikari, where people know each other primarily as their own and each other's bodies, then you come up to the platform of Madhyamadikari, where you no longer are interested in your body whatsoever. And in that platform, you begin to, under the guidance of Paramatma, to learn how to serve Krishna in a way that will please him. And insofar as he is pleased, your eternal form or your swarup, your eternal spiritual form begins to shape up in the relationship to Krishna. When that spiritual shape is perfected, then Krishna wants to associate, not that you want to go back to Godhead, but Krishna wants you with him. Why? Not out of pity, but out of the relationship you've developed with him. When that relationship with God, Krishna is perfected, then you are an Uttamadikari.
Did all this Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttamadikari progression happen when Chaitanya was freely distributing the Krishna Prema?
Krishna Prema means Uttamadikari.
There was no progression then. They were only being given Krishna Prema like that.
Huh? Krishna Prema Pradayate means if you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, you will become an Uttamadikari. The only you are guaranteed.
I mean, when Lord Chaitanya was there, there was no progression of Kanishta to Madhyama to Uttama. They were directly becoming the Uttamadikari by Lord Chaitanya's mercy there.
They were already Uttamadikari.
No. The general mass of the people were made to become.
Rupa Goswami was an Uttamadikari.
No, I'm not talking about Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, anyone. All the people in the town, everyone in
all of his immediate associates were all Uttamadikari.
I'm not talking about
Are you talking about the ordinary people?
I'm talking about everyone who has come in contact and who was taking part in Sankirtana, who was coming in contact with Lord Chaitanya, were given Krishna Prema there and then.
Prove it. Prove it.
I mean, we can talk. I mean, how many people will agree with me?
Oh, it's going to be a matter of popular vote. Not shastric discussion, but popular vote, democratic system.
That's because that's what I read from Prabhupada. That's what I got from reading Prabhupada's books. Everyone who came in association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got Krishna Prema. That's what I understood.
Bhanu, in all fairness, you've read something magical. Read it out loud right now to us. Where does it say that?
Isn't it Ramachandra Prabhu?
Read it. Read it out loud right now. Read the passage.
You're saying that everyone that met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attained Krishna Prema? Is that what you're saying?
Lord Nityananda was going house to house and he was distributing house to house and he was distributing Krishna Prema. There's a line like that. The quote.
He was distributing Krishna Prema. Remember Prabhupada's conversation, Prabhupada and myself in London. I said, is it possible that I can become a pure devotee just like you? And Prabhupada paused, chanted japa back and forth, and said, why not? You are in the process. Then he chanted japa back and forth again. He said, but it may take some time. So, according to Bhanu, I am an Uttamadikari because Prabhupada said, why not? You're in the process. But it may take some time. So there's no way to measure that I'm aware of which persons that came and chanted with Lord Chaitanya went back to where became Uttamadikaris on the spot, or if it took them several lifetimes after that to become Uttamadikaris. But Bhanu says he's read that they all became immediately, instantly Uttamadikaris without any other delay. I have never seen that written, but if you've seen it written, then read it to us. Does that make sense?
There is the song in the Vaishnava songbook that it says something in the lines that all of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates are eternally liberated. So, I mean,
yes, they are. They came from the spiritual sky to be with him.
yes,
They never evolved up from becoming dogs and cats and rats and flowers and
Yes.
bees. They
Yes.
never evolved up to the human form. They came down from Krishna Loka
yes,
with Lord Krishna and Radharani.
yeah, that's
They are
there.
his associates in Krishna Loka. So what's
Yes,
the
they were-
point?
They were sent before. Some people were sent before, like the mother and father, Haridas Thakur, Advaita Acharya. So the Lord sent them.
Whatever. But
Yes.
they came from Krishna Loka. Bhanu is, I think, saying that he was sent from Krishna Loka. That's why he's going to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. So was Bhanu sent from Krishna Loka?
Who?
You,
Bhanu, are you a Manjari from Krishna Loka?
My God, you're accusing me
so-
something.
Are you did you descend into this ISKCON movement as a pure devotee from Krishna Loka like the associates of Lord Chaitanya did? Or are you a fallen conditioned soul seeking to elevate to the platform of Uttamadhikari? If you're already at Uttamadhikari, then I'm committing a major offense by questioning your sacred nature, sacred attainment. But I am not aware that any of us here, and if you are one, then we should all worship you as though you were Krishna himself. But if you are an Uttama Adhikari and you've come down to associate with Lord Chaitanya, then it would be very kind of you to say so. So a
Do you
fallen
think I'm
fool like
Uttamadhikari?
myself doesn't offend you. What?
Do you think I'm an Uttamadhikari?
Are you an Uttamadhikari right now?
Do you think so?
Do I think so?
And why are you saying
None
it?
but
then?
this. Because you said that all of the persons who heard Chaitanya chanting, they went back to Godhead in that lifetime as
No.
Uttama Adhikaris.
I mean, he went on Sankirtan movement. He traveled all over the India, and he gave Krishna. It was written in the scriptures that he was distributing Krishna prema. I took it. I'm taking it to the literally. I'm not taking it like he's giving them a predated check which will be encashed in some 100 lifetimes. I'm not taking. I never took it that way. I took it. He is distributing Krishna prema means those people are getting Krishna prema within their lifetimes.
Okay. Would you say that Prabhupada was also distributing Krishna prema?
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Ramachandra Prabhu, help. Ramachandra?
here.
I'm asking Bhanu, and he doesn't answer yet, that Lord Chaitanya was distributing Krishna Prema. Was Srila Prabhupada distributing Krishna Prema? Or not?
To my estimation, he was.
Who said that? Is Mahaprabhu?
No, me.
Well, how could he not be? He's an Uttama Adhikari. That means
Right.
Krishna Prema.
Right,
And Uttama Adhikari is fixed in Krishna Prema.
right.
So any Uttama Adhikari can distribute Krishna Prema.
Right.
Bhaktisiddhanta did, Bhaktivedanta Thakur did, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti did, Narottam Das Thakur did.
Yes.
So it's not just Lord Chaitanya.
But then how many people become Uttamadhikari through the association of Uttamadhikari?
Lord Chaitanya was surrounded by Uttama Adhikaris.
So if we take Prabhupada, I'm not being offensive, but I'm just
The
analyzing.
question is, are you one of the Uttama that Lord Chaitanya was surrounded by?
No, I'm not a Uttama, I'm not even Kanishadhikari. I can say I'm not even following the four regulated principles to the point.
Right. It's helpful for us to say, be lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree. Not amazing, not saying that because Lord Chaitanya existed, now I'm an Uttamadhikari. That's not how it works. Uttamadhikari means in a reciprocal, loving, eternal rasa with Krishna. That's what Mother Yasoda has with Krishna. That's what Radharani has with Krishna. That's what the coward boys have with Krishna. Eternal rasas.
Prabhupada,
And you're saying
Uttamadhikari,
you're saying it's cheaper than that?
no, you're going off the track, you're going off the track and asking something else. How many people
do you have any idea? The things you're saying sound very. I don't recognize what you're saying from anything I've read.
Ramachandra Prabhuji, you helped to phrase the question.
Hey, Haribol, good to see you. Say again? What do you say?
How many people became an Uttamadhikari through the association of an Uttamadhikari like Prabhupada?
How many Uttamadhikaris like Prabhupada are there? Are you saying?
Through the association of an Uttamadhikari like Prabhupada, not like Prabhupada, of Uttamadhikari Prabhupada, how many became another Uttamadhikari? Why wasn't an Uttamadhikari
to answer your question, the vast majority of jivas are Uttama Adhikaris. They happen to live in Krishna
you can't generalize like that. You can't generalize like that. Answer that.
Anyone in Krishna Loka is an Uttama Adhikari.
No, Prabhuji, Bhanu Prabhuji asking that with association of Prabhupada, that how many of his disciples became an Uttamadhikari in this lifetime?
None of them. Not one.
Yes.
That's what he is asking.
Yes.
And that raises a question. If Prabhupada is an Uttamadhikari, why didn't even one of his disciples become an Uttamadhikari?
So
Yes.
that point said.
Prabhupada answered that question to me. It may take some time.
Yes.
I don't think he was talking about hours and minutes. I think he was talking many, many lifetimes.
So that point said, even if leak for 10,000 years, if people become Uttamadhikari, the next the people associating with them, they would take more lifetimes to become an Uttamadhikari. In that sense, there's no need to become an Uttamadhikari and be in the league for 10,000 years. And people just take the holy name, Mahamantra, and they themselves become Uttamadhikari over many lifetimes.
How many lifetimes will you take the holy name to become an Uttamadhikari?
No, that is different.
What's your plan? I understand what you.
I have heard in one of the Prabhupada's lectures that if one man continuously chants 16 rounds for 50 years, then he becomes perfect.
He can become perfect, but it's not a guarantee that he'll become perfect. It depends on the man. Free will. If he is chanting for 50 years thinking about cute girls, he will not become perfect. He has to think about Krishna. How do you measure if he's thinking about Krishna or thinking about cute girls if he's chanting?
Sincerely, yes, sincerely.
Yeah. So it has to be on the spiritual platform. We should not try to render Krishna consciousness into some sort of material thing. If we do, then why did Prabhupada come here at all? If it's material, he didn't need to come here. He's an Uttamadhikari, perfect pure devotee, just as powerful in his preaching as Lord Chaitanya was in his preaching. So the question is, because Lord the message is identical. There's no difference between the message from our Sampradaya and the message from Lord Chaitanya. In fact, Lord Chaitanya is in our Sampradaya.
So
In
Prabhuji,
fact, the head of our Sampradaya is Baladev, right? Balaram. And Lord Nityananda is Baladev, right? So that means that Lord Chaitanya, Lord Balaram came here 535 years ago. Lord Balaram, the head of our entire Sampradaya, going back kalpas and kalpas of time, Lord Balaram came down here a few years ago as Lord Nityananda. Right? Are we doubting that?
No.
Lord Krishna has appeared as Sachi's son, meaning Lord Chaitanya. Balarama has descended as Nitai. By chanting, the wretched have all been saved, including even Jaghai and Madhai. Hare Krishna. You see, the process is that if you hear from the pure devotee, you will eventually become a pure devotee. Now the question is, Bhanu wants to do this by the end of this one lifetime. He wants to go back to Godhead and not come back here in this material world again, even to deliver fallen souls in this one lifetime. Why not? My question is, do we have a choice how many lifetimes we take until we become Uttamadhikaris? Until we attain Krishna Prema, how many births do we have to take? You could say we don't have to take births, we could take 5 seconds to become Uttamadhikari. Or you could say even after 100 lifetimes or 1,000 lifetimes, I'm still not Uttamadhikari. We can't measure it, right? You agree, Bolo?
Yes.
Banu, do you agree? Everyone agree? We can't measure how many births it'll take. But we do know one thing. Everyone who can hear my voice right now, wherever they are, on this program or not, I will say clearly, anyone who can hear us talking is guaranteed that they will go back to home, back to Godhead. Meaning they are guaranteed to become Uttamadhikari. In this lifetime, my answer would be when donkeys fly, when pigs sing. How do you think you can do in one lifetime? Maybe you can, but I would say you have to fast forward very quickly if you're going to do it in one lifetime. I would say if you took 100,000 lifetimes to go become an Uttamadhikari, that would be short compared to the amount of time other jivas in this universe, same universe we're in, this little tiny speck of a universe, compared to other bigger universes, that anybody in this universe would give their life's blood to go back to Godhead, become an Uttamadhikari in 100,000 lifetimes. Why not? Otherwise, they have to stay here for 100,000 lifetimes with repeated birth and death over and over again. Demigod, Malacha, Brahman, Shudra, round and round and round they go. Only Lord Chaitanya can deliver us.
But Prabhuji, Prabhupada also said that you should try to go back in one lifetime. There is no guarantee of next. There is no guarantee what will happen next life.
What did you say that again? One more time. Who's speaking, by the way?
Prabhuji, Tulsipati Das.
Who?
Tulsipati Das from India.
Okay. So now, go ahead. Could you repeat that very gradually so that stupid enough people like me can understand it?
Yeah. So Prabhupada said that don't wait for next birth. There is no guarantee. He said like that. He said
if
try
you
to
read all of his
finish it.
books, there is no guarantee.
He's saying try to finish it in this lifetime. Is when he's in many lectures he has said this thing also, that don't wait for next lifetime. Don't think that what is the guarantee.
Well, yes.
He says,
Are you saying that Prabhupada said even if you read his books, there's no guarantee you'll go back to Godhead in this lifetime? Is that what you were saying?
no, he's saying that he said that you try your best to get out within this lifetime. And
Of
he's
course.
saying, why are you waiting for next life? There is no guarantee. How will you take? Where will you take the next birth? He said that.
Do you recall where he said that?
Well, in lectures he said that. He said, and
Okay. So the point is, there's no guarantee you will go back to Godhead in one lifetime by reading his books or chanting or doing anything. But he did say, if you're in the process, and he said it to me, a very low standard person, he said to me that why not? You're in the process, but it may take some time. I guarantee that you're going to go back to Godhead because you've heard the holy name of Krishna once. If we can tell every jiva in this planet, whether they're insects or germs or people or dogs or cats or trees or grains of wheat, if we can tell every jiva about chanting Hare Krishna, then even if they don't become Uttamadhikaris in 10,000 years, they will become Uttamadhikaris because they'll keep on living to practice Krishna consciousness in some way or another, in some planet or another, some form or another. It's guaranteed. The holy name of Krishna is so powerful. Krishna Prema Pradayate means Chaitanya says, I've given Krishna Prema. So if Lord Chaitanya gave Krishna Prema, the end result is guaranteed. If you hear, even if you hear offensively, it's guaranteed. What's the difference between offensive and inoffensive hearing? The length of time it'll take for you to reach perfection. The more offensive you are, the longer it will take. The more receptive and yielding and surrendered you are, like a Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, the quicker it will take. But everyone is going back to Godhead who is taking part in this conversation. It is back to Godhead. This conversation is back to Godhead. The question the Bhanu had was, I want to leave here. I don't want to come back. I want to go back to Krishna Loka in this lifetime, at the end of this lifetime. Why at the end? Why not sooner? And my question was, how are you going to become an Uttamadhikari in one lifetime? And that led to this entire discussion. That's the only question I had. How can you do it in one lifetime, or can you? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Ramachandra, what do you think?
Hi.
Ramachandra, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu, I'm here.
How come you're never saying anything?
Well,
I feel like I've been cast adrift.
yeah, Bhanu Prabhu left. So, Bhanu Prabhu, are you still here?
I'm here.
Bhanu Prabhu, are you still here? Okay. What can I say?
Okay, why am I talking to Bhanu? Why aren't you talking to Bhanu? Did I make any mistake in what I said? If I did, correct me.
I think
Ramachandra, did I
Bhanu
make a
Prabhu, I think,
mistake?
Bhanu Prabhu is trying to go back to Godhead in this lifetime, right now, immediately. If it was up to him,
Yes.
he would want to go back to Godhead now, immediately, and never come
Yes.
back.
Okay, and what
Don't put your words in
will
it.
be bought?
Never
what
said
is
never
Banu's-
come back. I'll come
What,
every time Krishna wants me to come, I'll come every time. I'll come more than Arjuna time comes. I'll come double the time Arjuna comes. If Krishna wants me to come.
Then you're at the right place. Then
okay. So, Banu, suppose in 80 lifetimes you become an Uttamadhikari and you ask Krishna, should I leave or should I stay here? And if I stay here, should I preach to these fallen conditioned souls? What would you do if Krishna said, stay here?
I would come. I would stay.
Well, that's all I said from the very beginning.
But did Krishna ask me? Let him ask me. You are asking me.
Are you an Uttamadhikari? Do you think that Krishna speaks to people that are not Uttamadhikaris?
That's what he's not asking me right now. Let him ask me. Then we'll let Krishna ask me, and I'll let it happen. Let that moment happen, and we'll do it. We are in the lowest stage of devotion. We are not even devotees. We're not even. Why are we discussing that point? Let that happen when we are Uttamadhikaris.
But you're used to making Krishna your slave and your servant in the form of Paramatma. But you cannot make Krishna your servant, your servant in the form of Shaimasundar. Shaimasundar doesn't talk to people unless they're in a rasa with him. Paramatma talks to everybody. He talks to a dog and wants to have sex with another dog and shows him how to do it, in fact. He does.
Said that. Yeah, that's what
you cannot treat Krishna prema. That means you can no longer treat Krishna like your slave or your servant, which is what everyone is doing in the material world. Where are my keys? Where's my good? Oh, I like that girl. Can I marry that girl? And Paramatma is continuously in conversation with you as to what sinful thing you can do. That's fine. That's Paramatma is Krishna
by that,
also.
Krishna isn't asking every Uttamadhikari to come to the material world. He's asking some of them. So he's not asking each one of the Uttamadhikari, come, let's go to the material world and deliver souls. He's choosing someone. If he chooses me, I'll come.
Well, what if you ask him, may I please come? Remember, if you come to the material world or stay in the material world as an Uttamadhikari, Krishna will be there with you. And you'll be surrounded by other people that have become Uttamadhikaris. You will not be the only one. If there's a whole bunch of supposing there's 1,000 Uttamadhikaris when you become an Uttamadhikari, would you be willing to associate with them here on earth?
So what is the process of becoming Uttamadhikari? We need to focus on our chanting. We need to chant more rounds. We chant so much that our chanting becomes pure eventually.
You have to become a Madhyamadhikari before you become an Uttamadhikari.
Even to become a Madhyamadhikari, chanting is the only process. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Kevalam Kale Nasteva Gatiranyata.
Okay. So pure chanting will make you into a Madhyamadhikari.
And a Uttamadhikari.
Uttamadhikari is very gradual after you become a Madhyamadhikari. It's not instant. Do you realize that as a Madhyamadhikari, you have to develop your eternal Swarup by your every mood, thought, feeling, and action in your human body?
I mean, it doesn't happen just by talking Uttama, Madhyama, Uttamadhikari. It doesn't, by talk, it doesn't happen. Becoming an Uttamadhikari. It happens by chanting.
Chanting, that takes more than that. No, chanting, yes, but it has to be offenseless chanting.
Yeah, everything. To get to the point of offenseless chanting also, offensive chanting is the way to offenseless chanting.
Offenseless chanting means that you do not say anything that goes against Krishna's pleasure or desire.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Of course. Is this another
No.
day? Yeah, your
Tulsi
question.
Pati.
Tulsipati. This is Tulsipati, Prabhu.
By the way, I say so many nice things about you when you're not on the Zoom call to others.
It's Tulsipati, Prabhu.
Okay.
You have a remarkable mind. So go ahead. Show me, share your remarkable thoughts. What is your remarkable thought?
Well, Prabhuji, you said that we are always in conversation with Paramatma.
I didn't understand
You know,
what you said.
You said that
Yeah.
Paramatma, Krishna, in his Paramatma form, he's always communicating with us, and he's always telling us how to fulfill our desires. You
Yeah,
said
our
that
material desires. Oh, spiritual desires also. But spiritual and whatever our desires, he's helping us achieve them.
So
Because we
now,
want him, for the simple reason that we want him to do that.
so now, so that means a conditioned soul can also talk with Paramatma, because he's like, he wants to have his desires.
Yeah. Not only a conditioned soul, an insect is constantly talking to Paramatma. Birds are constantly asking, where? That's what they do when they're chirping and they're eating grain. Where? And Paramatma saying, there. He talks to every bird considering every single bite of grain that each and every bird takes.
That's what I'm confused about. It's like Paramatma is same as Krishna. He's Vishnu Tattva. So if we are
Vishnu,
talking to him,
he's not.
What?
Okay, are you wondering why is Krishna willing to do that? You're saying?
No, I'm saying that if everybody is talking with Paramatma, so then we cannot say that how can that soul be conditioned if the soul is talking with Paramatma? So then how the soul becomes conditioned?
The soul is in the Gita, the soul is the active bird and Paramatma is the passive bird. The soul says, I want to rape that woman. Who will give him the intelligence how to do it?
Okay.
Sinful. I'm saying to shock you. I want to kill that person. I want to go up to an innocent person or a person with bad karma, obviously, but I want to go up to that person and stab them in the throat with a knife. Who gives them the knife? Who gives them the opportunity? Who shows them how to do it?
Okay.
It's Paramatma.
So he's doing
Paramatma
that.
guides every single move you make is guided by Paramatma. And there's a reason why he does it too. And do you know the reason? We've discussed it quite a few times. But do you know why Paramatma is willing to do that?
Well, it's because he's very merciful and he allows us to fulfill our desires.
Well, yes, could you say that one more time, Prabhu? I'd love to hear it.
I'm saying because he's very merciful and he doesn't interfere with our minute independence, and he allows us to do
more than that. If I'm a bird and I ask, where's the grain? Birds are colorblind. They can't tell the difference between a pebble and the grain, can they? Okay. How do birds know what is the grain and what is the pebble? Right?
Okay.
Paramatma, correct?
Okay.
So every bite the bird takes is being supervised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's an extreme. How about
So-
germs? Every time a germ wants to eat your liver, Paramatma shows him where to bite.
Yeah. So, but
Why?
then, but at the same point of time, he doesn't help us in everything, right?
Oh yes, he helps
It's
whatever
like
we want.
it's
He-
like if
he
I
helps.
start desiring that, I want to know what's going inside that person's head, but I
Oh,
don't
I see
think
what
he's
you're
going to
saying.
help me.
He will not help you. No, he will help you with what you do. He will not help you. Well, psychics can sometimes do that, and that is Paramatma guiding them, of course. Paramatma is in the heart of every single living creature and every atom, the center of every atom. Because of that, Paramatma knows everything. And so the question that's not being asked quite yet is this: why does Krishna, Govinda in Govishaloka, expand himself as Paramatma into the heart of a person who's going to do sinful things, and thereby instruct the sinful person how to do those sinful things, when Krishna has no interest whatsoever in anyone doing sinful things? Why would he do that? That's the big question, and people don't bother answering it. But let's ask that question. People don't bother asking it. Let's ask that question. Why does Krishna help you do things that are the opposite of spiritual, that will lead you into hell? If there is hell, you go down to hell, not eternally, but you go down and roast until you are purified by roasting, until you can come out again and take a birth. But why would Krishna give you the power to do something that would lead you to hell? And he does.
Okay.
Do you know the answer? The answer is very simple, but it's something which we don't think of because we're in our bodily conception. Can I give you the answer?
Yes.
Or at least you may
Yeah.
consider
Yes.
it an answer, or you may not consider, but I'm offering it as an answer. Because the jiva is part and parcel of Krishna. Remember, Paramatma is in the heart of the body, next to the jiva, in the heart of the body. Jiva and Paramatma are side by side inside the heart of the body, which is essentially inanimate. If only because the mind is hooked into the body does the mind consider that the heart, that the body is the self. But take the mind out of the body and bring it back to the jiva. You have a jiva and Paramatma sitting there side by side. The jiva, can we understand clearly, is part and parcel of Krishna. No other source for the jiva, correct?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you might say, if the jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, but he's marginal potency, right? Infinitesimal. Not infinitesimal in your rasa with Krishna, but infinitesimal in the material world. I will tell you flat out, the reason that Paramatma enables the jiva to do sinful things that the jiva wants to do, there's karma is good deeds, vaikarma, sinful deeds, and akarma, which is transcendental life, spiritual life. So Paramatma helps the jiva have what he wants, no matter what it is. And you might say, well, why would God, if God is good, why would he enable the jiva to do something, empower the jiva to do something which is bad? And the answer to the question is very simple. Because the jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna will not be denied what he wants. We are not the entire Krishna, we're an infinitesimal fraction of Krishna, and Chitta Veda Veda Tattva, simultaneously one and different than Krishna. But if I desire something, it is part of Krishna desiring it. So Paramatma comes into the material world and sits next to every jiva. What do you speak of humans? How about cats and mice and grains of wheat and roots of trees and germs and maggots eating dead flesh in a pit, dead corpses in a pit, maggots. He's sitting there with the in the maggot's heart, the jiva in the maggot's heart, and the jiva saying, "Where will I get some dead flesh? Where can I get a mouthful? Where can I get another mouthful?" And Paramatma is going like this, there, there, there. He directs every bite of every maggot. Why? Because the maggot is just like you and me, pure spirit soul in a different body. You're in a human body, the maggot's in a maggot body. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what body you're in. What matters is, what do you want? And the maggot wants dead flesh, and some humans want the path of sadhana bhakti. They want to gradually become purified so they can be the jiva as pure as Krishna is in Krishna Loka, which means he can come into the platform of Madhyamadikari and gradually evolve and recreate himself and be recreated by Paramatma again into the form or swarup in which he can relate with Krishna in the spiritual world. But there's no difference between you and me and the maggot. We're conditioned souls and we want something. So whatever we want, Paramatma helps us get it, if it's within our capacity to have it.
So
the maggot wants to ride a Rolls Royce, he can't do it. He has to just settle for dead flesh. Go ahead. What?
Yeah. So
did you answer your question? Are you satisfied with that or not?
Yeah, I have further query that if is there a difference between having looking at Paramatma, if a jeev wants to have, if a jeev wants to have a look, or if a jeev wants to have darshan of Paramatma in his heart, and if he wants to see Vasudev, so is there a difference between both of these realization, or they are both same?
You mean the sinful desire or the pure desire?
It's like
there's a difference between sin and pure.
I'm saying
sorry
that I want to, if I want to see Paramatma in my heart, okay,
yeah,
and then there is Krishna, okay. So if Paramatma gives me darshan or Krishna gives me darshan, so is there a difference between these two, or same realization or difference?
There's a huge difference. Paramatma is there to serve the jiva, or to grant the desires of the jiva. The jiva does not want to serve Krishna. The jiva wants to be served by Krishna. How does Krishna serve the jiva to comply with the jiva's desire to be served? As Paramatma.
Okay.
Now, Prabhupada on the Jaladuta said to pray to Krishna, make me dance like a puppet on a string. Make me dance like a puppet. That means, Prabhupada said, my body, I'm used to it. It's time to get up, it's time to sleep, it's time to eat, it's time to dress, it's time to shave, it's time, all of these things I'm doing, and you asking Paramatma how to shave, how to get dressed, how to pee, how to brush your teeth. Paramatma is being enslaved by the jiva into all of these things that the jiva wants, that Paramatma is obliging him selflessly, because you are part of Krishna and Paramatma is there to serve Krishna, which you are part and parcel of. So if you want something bad, Paramatma is not going to evaluate your desire. He simply tries to grant your desire, assuming you have the right karma and stuff like that to go with it. You can't desire $1 million if you don't have $1 million karma. But that's a different thing. That's the body. That's the body. Has the karma. But do you see, it's a tough concept, except that when Prabhupada said, make me dance, he was saying, Paramatma, you've sat there granting me passively granting me my desires. I've been hopping all around wanting things, this, I want that, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. I said, please, let's trade roles. You become the active bird, Paramatma, and I will become a puppet, meaning the passive bird. You move my arms, you move my legs, you move my mouth. You dress me, you feed me. I'm not going to ask for anything. I'm not saying, I want rasgullas instead of gulab-jamuns. No, I'm going to accept what you give me because you're the Lord and I'm your servant. That's a complete reversal of roles between the Jiva and Paramatma. You are master, I am servant. But what does every ordinary karmi walking down the street, a drunkard? He's saying, I want some booze. Where can I get? Oh, there's a bottle on the ground. There's still an inch of booze in it. I'll drink that. Why? He wanted it and Paramatma gave it to him. So he's treating Paramatma like an order supplier. And Prabhupada says in the Gita very clearly, we cannot make Krishna our order supplier. But what do you think everybody's doing? They're making Krishna their order supplier. You, me, and everyone. The secret is take the position like Prabhupada. Make me dance like a puppet on a string. Meaning, you make the actions. I'm not going to try to stand up or sit down. I'm not going to use the bathroom or not use the bathroom. I'm not going to eat or not eat. I'm not going to do anything. I'm a puppet. Puppets don't do things. As long as I think I'm the doer, which the Gita tells us not to think, as long as I think that I am the doer, then Paramatma will grant us our desire if it's within our karmic capacity to have that desire fulfilled. But when I go the opposite route, saying, make me dance like a puppet, I'm saying, I don't have a desire. I don't have any desire. Oh, you have a body, don't you? No, that's a puppet body. Not my body, it's a puppet body. I am in the puppet body. I'm the jiva in the puppet body. Now, Krishna, please make that puppet do what you want it to do, not what I might think I would like it to do. That's
So, Prabhuji,
Yes.
so Prabhuji, if I say that to Paramatma
Yes.
in my heart, so there is always a chance that my mind might interfere, or my, because my mind might, not agree with that. Because can that be a case? Or, if.
Of course, that is the case. That's what we're doing day and night. In every species, germs are doing it. Mice are doing it. They have their desire, and Krishna has his desire. But I'd rather do my desire than do what Krishna wants. That's true for dogs. That's true for camels. That's true for trees. That's true for insects, for ants. They all have their own idea what they want. And Paramatma is offering better advice and they don't want it. So to answer your question more directly, which is not that easy to answer, and to try to carefully answer your question, which is a good one, yes, you will interfere unless you take Prabhupada's position. Let me make me dance. When I say make me dance, I'm not talking to you or to myself. I'm talking to Paramatma, to Krishna. Make me dance like a puppet. When that happens, then I can't say no to Krishna. I mean, can you imagine there's a puppet with strings on a marionette? It's really called a marionette. with strings on it, and you're looking, the little kids are on the other side, and the audience are excited because they see this figure is coming out and waving his arms and talking. The little child thinks it's really that person talking. He really thinks that little wooden thing with paint on it is talking, and it suits his child, like, 5-year-old mentality. It excites him to think like that. Why? Because he's doing the same thing. His body is being manipulated also by desire. So he sees there's that puppet, and he believes that puppet is a real person really talking. Now, what if that puppet all of a sudden said to the puppeteer, I don't think I want to do that. Let go of my string. I don't want to do that. The puppets can't do that because puppets are passive. So in order to be servant of Krishna, you need to be passive, active in surrendering, passive in action. Let Krishna do it. It's easier, simpler, and more fun. But a lot more fun. And like a person might say, well, if I surrender to Krishna, then how will I ever have fun? Are you kidding? Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. How will you not have fun? You will not have fun if you try to do things your way, because you'll be constantly going after Maya, after a mirage, after illusion. Like a mirage means like you're in the desert, you look across, you see a big lake. Oh, it's so thirsty. You walk in that direction, but it's really just light bouncing off the sand. It's not a real lake. So you go up there and you get there and there's just sand. And so that's in the illusion. So that's what everyone is doing instead of surrendering to Krishna and enjoying the experience of being guided, directed, and entertained and pleased and everything by Krishna. If Krishna is doing things, it's wonderful. Krishna is wonderful. My body is not wonderful. My jiva is conditioned to think that I'm my body. So if I let go of that concept, that I'm not my body and my body isn't wonderful, Krishna is wonderful, I will be the passive bird. Please, you be the active bird, the opposite of what Prabhupada wrote in the Gita. You be the active bird, and I will just be what you make me be, not what I think I should be, or I would, with my limited intelligence, like to be. Surrender means you give that all up. Completely, 100%. That's what we need in this league for 10,000 years of golden age of Kali. Instead of fighting the process, as we've been doing tonight, we have to give up fighting, give up everything. That's called giving up everything. In one word is surrender. Surrender. When you give up everything, then you've surrendered. And that's what Make Me Dance means when you talk to Paramatma. So now, what about you? I think you mentioned you find Paramatma, there's what Paramatma can. Paramatma show you Krishna. It's not the way, I mean, if you have the qualification to see Krishna, but if you're the puppet, then how are you going to be asking to see Krishna? If Krishna wants to reveal himself, that's his business. But we can't say, now that Paramatma is there, I want to see Krishna. That would be you acting on Krishna, Paramatma, making him, once again, your slave or servant. So we can't do that. But how can you see Krishna face to face? Become a Madhya Madhikari and develop your rasa with Krishna. And when your rasa is complete, like if you're fanning Krishna with a peacock fan, and he gradually becomes to enjoying it more and more because Paramatma, same Paramatma, is guiding you how to do it to a way that Krishna will find it pleasing, then Krishna will want to invite you into Krishna Loka. You can't get there just by barging, put your shoulder in the door and smash it down. No, you have to be invited in, and you're invited in when Krishna when you're so pleased serving Krishna, and Krishna is so pleased at how you're serving him, then that's your rasa. And when your rasa is perfected, then you naturally will be invited into Krishna Loka. But until your rasa is complete, there's no question of being invited into Krishna Loka. You can imagine, you can fantasize, but it isn't real. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, true. Actually, Prabhuji, what you are telling me right now, I was thinking a lot for past few months. So what you are telling me right now, I was looking for all these answers. Now I mean, a lot of things that were in my mind are getting clear. You know, I was like, I was like when I'm chanting.
Right.
So it's like there are many questions and many feelings I have. So I was like confused. I mean, like
Right.
what it is, what it is not, whether it is Maya or what it is. So
Yes.
what you are telling me, it's helping me
Well,
realize
thank you.
that
If
what I
I
was doing.
actually, I thank you for saying thank you for helping you, but let me only say, Krishna who's speaking to you, I'm only supplying the puppet part.
Right.
Yeah,
I was
I was.
sharing with you a truth which I cannot create and I do not control, is simply the truth as it is. And because it's a truth as it is, I am not the owner of the truth. I'm simply like you, an observer, a partial observer, a limited, useless, brainless observer, but I'm trying to observe, just like we all are.
So, but
So that,
then
thank you for that. Thank
yeah.
you. That appreciation will help your spiritual life.
You muted
Your
yourself.
mic is you're muted.
You muted,
You're
no,
muted,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Everything
no
I have said tonight is the actual truth.
Yeah.
It's not something
So
that I made
Prabhuji,
up.
yeah, Prabhuji, one more thing. So if I desire from Paramatma that I want to see this particular form of yours, so is that also like trying to enslave Paramatma? It's like if I'm saying that I want to see
Well,
this particular form.
are you saying that you're asking Paramatma, may I see this particular form of Krishna?
Yeah,
that
it's
it?
like yeah.
Well, yes, of course. And you can go and you walk into a shop, you'll find that picture of Krishna. There it will be. You can buy it. There it will be, that form of Krishna. But in terms of your real question, which I think is, will that form of Krishna be revealed to you by Paramatma? And
Yeah.
it cannot be, because the only time you can see Krishna face to face is in your particular rasa with Krishna. You can't see Krishna face to face by asking Paramatma. You can only see Krishna face to face by being in the rasa, which will then be seen and understood by you to be your eternal rasa with Krishna. You see what I mean?
Yep.
You will have your face-to-face vision of Krishna, not according to, well, I like that painting of Govinda, I want to see Krishna as he was when he posed for the painting. That's not the way it works. The way it works is Paramatma will help you become a Madhyamadikari. As a Madhyamadikari, all, not some, but all of your material consciousness and desires will gradually go away. And all, not some of them, but all of them, but of your desires to serve Krishna in a way that is kinetically and directly pleasing to Krishna will take their place.
Okay.
So in the end,
Right.
you not only will be able to please Krishna, but you will have regained your spiritual swarup to please him with.
Yeah. So Prabhuji, Actually, I have lot more queries, but I think it's getting late for you. So
I am your servant.
I think it's enough for today because I have,
Okay.
and
I was gonna
it's
change the topic. I was
okay.
gonna change the topic. So
So it's like because
This is,
now you four are here.
Tulsipat,
It's
who was speaking? I want to know.
Tulsipati Das.
Tulsipati.
Tulsipat, we
Because
have your, we have your voice, but we don't have your swaroop, your picture.
yeah, because I'm like on it's afternoon time, and I'm lying on bed, so that's why I was just
I'm lying on bed too.
so it's like I mean maybe
Oh, there you
I
are.
would yeah, it's
Hare Krishna.
actually
Please
yeah,
accept
Hare
my
Krishna
humble
Prabhuji.
obeisances.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
yeah, Dandvat Pranam
Right.
Prabhuji.
Could I ask where
So
you're located?
Jaipur, India.
North India?
Jaipur, yeah,
Jaipur.
Jaipur.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jaipur,
Jaipur.
Yep.
My favorite city. Jai
So
Govindadev.
yeah, Govind Devji. He's our
Yeah.
so it's been like only 7 years, yeah, 7 or 8 years for me. Since I've been in contact. But recently there are many, when I'm chanting, so there are many things, um, that happen, but I cannot explain that. I couldn't explain, what is happening, how it is
Well,
happening.
in due time, everything will be revealed. You will reveal, we will reveal, Krishna will reveal in our hearts. In Istagosti, it is Krishna who brings about the conclusion, not our material mentality. When Krishna brings about the conclusion in our hearts, that's when we're beginning to, you could say, channel Krishna, or shall we say more accurately, that's when we become puppets and are being guided or maneuvered by Paramatma. And remember, the same Paramatma is in everybody's
Right.
hearts.
Mm.
On this Zoom call, Paramatma is in same Paramatma, but he doesn't tell us secrets about each other. But when we come out and say something and we ask Paramatma for the words, those are his words. And then you do, I do, he does, Mahaprabhu
So,
does. The words come
Prabhuji,
out. Then we're having real Krishna Katha.
Prabhuji, sorry to cut you short, but I have this. It's like when I'm chanting, so and I have a particular vision. So in that vision, my chanting becomes really easy. I don't have to make any effort, and it just starts resounding in my ear. So then I'm confused that. Then I become confused that whether this vision is material or it is what it is actually. And so it's like
Remember, we're neither, we, the jiva, are spiritual, but we're marginal energy. Marginal
yeah.
energy.
So that's what I was confused about, that whether is there any material energy or is there any illusion where we are in and our chanting becomes better. So is there any maya also that makes our chanting better?
Makes it better?
Yeah.
Well, Maya's job, Maya Devi's job is to make it worse. Maya Devi doesn't want us to chant. But to answer your question in a better way, I think, than I understood it to be, is that the material energy is the servant of the superior energy. But in the material world, the material energy acts like God and tries to make Krishna look like a little idol standing on a piece of marble somewhere. That's because Maya wants us to not worship Krishna. That's her job, is to fool us. So the situation is, if we are chanting to Krishna in a way that Krishna is pleased, the material energy will also be pleased. Why? Because the material energy is also Krishna's servant. Does that make sense at all?
Yes, yes. True.
Yeah, she said, Prabhupada said Maya is the jailer of the jailhouse. She has the very unpleasant job of taking Krishna's beloved parts and parcels and keeping them as slaves and prisoners in the prison house.
So there could be a
supposing the
situation.
prisoner becomes reformed, who will be happier than Maya Devi?
Okay, so
Oh,
then
she'll try
she
to
lets the
stop you,
devotee chant.
but if she can't stop you, she'll be pleased.
Okay. So,
That's
but
a sort of an
can there
indirect
be?
answer
So
to your question.
that's what I'm asking. That it's like you're saying that Maya would become pleased. So then, if Maya becomes pleased, so would she let devotee, chant easily without any disturbance?
She'll make it as hard as possible. Maya
Yeah.
Devi
Okay.
will always make it as, if Maya Devi sees a crack in your armor, she'll try to put a knife inside of it.
Okay.
Maya Devi
Yeah.
will go after the slightest flaw that you could possibly have and try to make it into a big flaw. But what I was saying is, if you become flawless,
Okay.
like Uttama Adhikari, like Prabhupada,
Yeah, then,
if you become flawless, then Maya Devi becomes very pleased. Because she can't find any
that's
way
the-
to cheat you or tempt you or twist you or make you do the wrong thing. You can't do the wrong
Yes,
thing, but she'll never be
yeah.
your friend. She'll never
Yeah.
be
So
your
that's
friend.
that is the actual.
If
That is actually
she
that is
might
my
end up
confusion.
worshiping you. She'll worship you, but she'll never be your friend.
Yeah. So that is my confusion. That I can see that I'm not pure. So, but then I see that, while I'm, as in Prabhupada says that you don't need to think anything, you just need to chant. So, if I try to do that, so it's very difficult because my mind is disturbing me. But if I'm observed in a particular thought, then it's very easy for me to chant. So it's pretty, I can't understand. I mean, what is
Well,
that?
because
Sometimes,
it is Krishna intervening in your behalf or Maya interfering to distract you. It's
yes,
only
but
two forces, Krishna and Maya. So Paramatma is Krishna, and even the fact that Krishna, as Paramatma, will hand you, if you say, I want to kill that person with a knife, where's my knife? You look down and Paramatma points it out to you. That doesn't mean he wants you to use it. It's that you want to use it. So, but the thing is, on a level playing field, Krishna is always going to be helping you. And once you've surrendered to Paramatma, make me dance like a puppet, let you do the action, and I will be passive. He will make everything work for you.
so if,
And Maya Devi will do everything she can to make it hard for you.
yeah, so if it's like, for me, I just take it simply. It's like if my chanting is improving and if I'm enjoying while chanting, so I just consider it all right. I don't try to, think a lot about it, that what is happening or
Oh,
what
that's
I'm
very
seeing,
nice.
because then it distracts me a lot. It's like, okay, I'm enjoying it and I'm chanting, that's it. So whatever it might be. So if it is Maya, that is all right, because if it is Maya, then what is the problem? Because
Well,
the thing is that I'm chanting and I'm enjoying,
if you're
and
enjoying the
I'm
chanting,
feeling like, yeah,
if
and I
you're
feel like that
singing
I should
Bollywood,
increase.
if you're chanting Bollywood tunes in a kirtan to attract the attention of attractive girls, that is Maya. But if you're chanting very nicely in the kirtan and you feel satisfied by hearing the sound vibration, that is not Maya. Maya is when we want something out of what we do. And I don't mean perfection. I mean, I'm chanting so that that girl will look at me and think I'm a great kirtan leader, and then maybe I'll ask her out on a date. That's not kirtan. That is not chanting. That's not pure. The purity comes when you're chanting very nicely and you hear your sound vibration resonating in your heart and your ear. The steel bands are loosening on your heart and your mind. The chakra, the crown chakra, is going vertically in the Bhakti Lata Beach, and you're looking forward and you see the deities standing there and suddenly the deities are smiling and looking at you, and you say, I don't know if this is really happy or not, but I hope it is because it's wonderful. That's nice. That's Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, actually, to tell you frankly, I don't know about deities, but I have a big painting of big picture of Prabhupada in temple. So I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
wonderful.
maybe it's my psychology. I don't know. But sometimes when I look at the picture, so sometimes it appears like Prabhupada is smiling a bit. Sometimes it appears that he's angry. But I don't know. It's just, it might be just be my, my brain, or it's just an illusion. But with that painting, I particularly sometimes I see, so I feel like, okay, he's little bit. It's like, when we see somebody and we feel that, okay, his mood is good, and sometimes it's like, oh, his mood is not that good. So maybe it might be
Well, that's
my.
an interesting thing, In the early days of the movement, when we first, back, I took initiation in 1968, when there was only like fewer than 50 members of the Krishna consciousness movement, just a handful of us. And we would look like that, we chanting in kirtan or japa, looking at Prabhupada. Sometimes he would be smiling and beaming, and sometimes he looked strict or saying, why are you doing like that in his gaze? Is that what you're sort of suggesting?
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
That the
same.
picture,
Yeah, when
well,
it's like
because
while
the
I'm.
picture is reflecting your heart.
Yeah,
Krishna,
okay.
Prabhupada is Prabhupada no matter what. But if you are thinking, even if it's not a bad thing you're thinking, but it's just something that is not quite leading to perfection, he will look at you with a warning look. And if it is doing something to make a big breakthrough in realization, he will smile at you in the picture.
Yeah, a little bit. It
Why?
seems like a
Because
little bit.
there's no difference between the picture and Prabhupada, you see. Just like
Yeah.
the deity, there's no difference between the deity and Krishna.
Yeah, it's actually now, it's like from last 6 or 7 years, I was very much struggling while chanting, and my mind was not at all, peaceful. But from last, it's like a few months or a year, it's like I feel like, I'm in a transition. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like that I'm in a period of like transition. It's like I feel like, it's like from
You
once.
know, Prabhupada describes that. It's called the clearing stage. Clearing means you clear the anarthas, the offenses. Everybody has offenses, because me and mine. As soon as I say me or mine, that's an offense, because it's not neither me nor is it mine. My body is not me, and nothing near mama. Nothing is mine. So when I think like that, that's right. And then I begin to feel better by chanting. When you're saying chanting, are you talking kirtan or are you talking japa?
I'm talking about japa. It's obviously kirtan is always interesting. I find it, but when I sit down and try to do japa, so now I feel like that, as time day every day, it's like I feel like I'm a little bit more peaceful and a little bit more enjoying. So, and at the same point of time, I do not want to go. I do not want it, because I have felt like that for small period of like for
Whoa.
2 or 3 days, but then it
Yeah.
went away, and I was thinking that
Well,
what happened.
the more you chant, the more will happen. It's called as I said, clearing stage. It means your heart is becoming more purified. Just like when you're washing your hands and you've been working on your car, you start washing your hands with soap and hot water, and all this black stuff comes off your hands, right? But as you wash, it becomes less black, and after a while, it's just nice clear water, and your hands look very clean, and skin color is beautiful, So that's what we're doing. We're clearing the sins from accumulated. No, that's what Lord Chaitanya says. It's clearing the sins accumulated from years altogether. So that's what we're doing, and you're doing it well because it's working. My one advice and thought on kirtan mridanga playing and kartal playing is, please only accept instruction from Srila Prabhupada himself personally on tape, on video, or whatever, as well as verbal instruction. The aditala tautanakade tijate timitimita. That is the aditala is the most potent and powerful mridanga beat. The devotees in ISKCON have taken up all sorts of crazy beats just to jump around with, and that's not acceptable for a person of your caliber, if I may say so, because you're tasting perfection, and that leads people into relativity, not perfection. Then the other thing is to play the kartals. It opens the heart. It cuts the bands on the heart. Why would anyone do differently unless they're just showboating? They're just dancing around to look like they're dancing around. And who's supposed to watch? Krishna or some other person in the room? Or each other? No, that's not acceptable. We only want one person watching, and that's Krishna. And then the last thing is melody. Prabhupada brought melodies. He chanted melodies. The disciple should neither add nor subtract to what he hears from the spiritual master. Neither add nor subtract. So we have to put on headphones, as you have, put on headphones and listen to Prabhupada on recordings and chant. Like if he's doing kirtan, he will lead, we follow. When the kirtan follows, chant, he will lead, he leads, we follow, he leads, we follow, until we understand how he does it. Then when we chant the way Prabhupada chants, and others will follow and experience transcendental ecstasy. Not just kinetic energy and jumping around, but transcendental ecstasy.
And
So
one more thing.
That's
One more
not
thing
my
I
advice,
wanted
it's
to.
my request.
Yeah.
Just Prabhupada Kata, just Prabhupada. He's
Yeah,
the guru.
We're not. That's what we are doing. That is what we are doing. Actually, that is what we do.
Prabhupada
Yes,
style of kirtan?
Yeah, only Prabhupada's lecture and
The
Prabhupada's
melodies
books.
also.
Yeah, Prabhupada's
But when you
books,
chant,
everything.
What melodies do you chant when you chant?
Chanting, no melody. While chanting, I don't do any melody. It's simple chanting. It's like speaking and hearing. That's what. While chanting,
Kirtan?
No, in kirtan, it's like whoever is. It's like we have devotees, and they don't have any. It's like we have chart. We have service chart, and whoever's name is there, he has to go and do the kirtan. It's not like one person is doing. It's like.
Yes. No, I understand. But the melody that he chants,
they are
right,
simply
should be Prabhupada's
singing.
melody, not somebody. Huh?
They're
Hare
simply
Krishna,
singing.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Yeah, they're
That
just
melody.
simply singing. They're simply singing.
Yes,
it's like a lot of them, they are not even singers.
But
they're
some
just
people, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's not acceptable.
okay. No, they're just simply singing. Simply they sing. It's like Bradang
like
Kartal, yeah, and simply sing. They're not a lot of them. Many of them are not even, they don't even know how to sing. It's just that because they get the service, so they have to sing. So that's why they sing.
Yeah.
So
Well, not knowing how to
like
sing is not a crime. There's no, but they say no hard and fast rules for chanting, but that means something entirely different. A hard and fast rule means the hard and fast rule that is there for chanting is how your spiritual master chants. That's how you chant. Around 1970, people began branching off into different types of chanting. Bengali chanting, this chanting, Ramakrishna chanting, Bollywood melody chanting. And that's not acceptable. End of story.
Yeah.
We have to chant like if we want to be the servant of Prabhupada, then we must serve him by chanting like Prabhupada.
Yeah. And one more thing I would like to share with you, that we have.
I think we are finally running out of time.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
last thing, it's like I wanted to share with all of you that we at Hare Krishna village, we have this place, Hare Krishna village. So where we have bought agricultural land few days back.
Really?
It's 130 biga. It would be like, I don't know, 35 acres. Like we are 27 devotees. We all bought it together, and now we will.
And this is in India?
Yeah, in India, nearby Jaipur. It's 100 kilometers from Jaipur, and it's a very beautiful place. Both sides there are
East or
mountains.
north? Which direction?
From Jaipur,
North?
we west, not south. From Jaipur, we go to south. There is
South,
a
yeah, it has
talk.
to be south.
Yeah, talk. So
Is-
there is a place
near-
talk. There is a place talk.
what is it?
It's nearby. There is a
Is it near
village.
Udaipur?
No, not Udaipur. We have from Jaipur. When we go south, so there is talk, small town talk. So
Oh, I see.
just 25 kilometers before talk, we have this village, and then we have
Wonderful.
forest area. So within that forest area we bought the land.
Wow.
So
You
now
also have cows?
yeah, a lot of cows actually. As of now, we have so many cows that we can't even handle. We had to give them to some goshalas also, because they were like,
Really?
it was like miscalculation.
These are
And they were
Desi cows?
all of them, every single
Oh, that's
cows.
Did
Rathi.
you ever hear of a person named Kuvaleshaya Das
Who?
in Jaipur? Kuvaleshaya. A young man named Kuvaleshaya. Kuva.
Okay, there might be, because in Jaipur there is organization called Give also. Then we have Akshay Patra also, and then we have ISKCON also, and then we are there. Actually, our centers in Jaipur are small. It's like we have rented houses, undergrounds, the basements, and there we are running the temple in Jaipur. But our main temple is in village, Hare Krishna village, and there we have built a temple recently, and we are going to install Radha Krishna deities there. Deities are already there, but it's like we are waiting for some more devotees to become second initiated, so that they can so that the service is not interrupted. So I think
That's
this
wonderful.
Janmashtami, I
Who
think we
is
will
it? Who
install.
is initiating?
Prabhupada. Actually, we are getting initiation from Prabhupada.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
I'm
So you're involved
so
with
I'm-
the more the Akshaya Patra type of church temple, it's like
What,
Akshaya
Prabhupada?
Patra. You like the Akshaya Patra? Akshaya Patra.
Actually, I have never been to Akshay Patra. I have never ever gone to, because from my first day I was associated with Hare Krishna community, and because I have always, from my day one, I have experienced that okay, I'm moving forward. So then I don't feel any necessity to go anywhere else or look anywhere else, because
No, not that there's, no, you should not go anywhere else. Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya said, every town and village, not one big gathering in one spot. No, melas can take place, but basically every town and village should be independent. Not
Yeah.
just established.
So
I have some questions, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu.
Kusivati Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu.
This-
How much are land prices per acre? You bought 34 acres, or how many acres you guys bought?
It's like it's 130 biga. So then if we convert, it's like I personally bought like 1.65 acres. So
Okay.
my it's like my in biga terms, my is 6.5 biga. So it's 20 times. So yeah, you can say around about 30 bigas. If you multiply 1.6 by 20,
Why?
so it comes
the-
like, yeah.
So the reason why I'm asking is because I was looking at some land today.
Kitna paisa.
Yeah.
It is pretty actually. After before the lockdown, that that land was like a little bit costly, but after the lockdown, the same guy, it's like he sold at, I don't know, at 60% cost. It was
Wow.
before it
Nice.
was it was 5.5 lakh per biga, and after the lockdown he sold it to us 3.3 lakh 25,000 per biga.
Really?
So
You're talking
yeah,
about
we were
the pandemic?
yeah,
Yeah.
because of
Lockdown?
pandemic, yeah, the prices went
Yeah.
down. So and it
Oh,
was
that's
like he
incredible.
was, yeah, we were trying to buy it before, but fortunately, things didn't work out. So this time everything worked out, and his price was
Right.
also low,
That's wonderful.
and many people joined in, and they
You
all,
do realize that our program, excuse me for interrupting you, but this um, League for 10,000 Years is going to be based on what you're doing. We have
yeah, because I
Daiva
because
Varnashram
I know.
Dharma. We're going to be writing articles for our website on Daiva Varnashram Dharma. We welcome you to join in to writing also.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, I would try to, but I'm not that good at writing or reading, but I might try.
No, that's
It's
okay.
like
Even commenting or critiquing is good too.
I
In the
Yeah.
website, you can put any comment you like, right?
Hmm.
And Facebook also, you can say whatever you like. We want
Yeah.
you because you're doing it. That's it's
Yeah,
worth
because
1,000 words.
it is actually Prabhuji, it is completely Prabhupada's grace, because as far as my family is concerned, they are not supportive. My parents are actually not at all supportive. They would not even give me a
Yes.
single penny, and I was always all the time, they were thinking about buying. So I was I was very much anxious that where am I going to get the money.
right.
But the way it turned out, that I didn't have to do anything. It's like, as in saying that if it's in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that if my devotee needs anything, so I bring him. So it was like that,
Yes.
but
Well,
money
that
came
was
by itself.
earlier Paramatma. Krishna was pleased, and he gave you the means to do it.
Yeah,
Actually,
it was,
Actually, I'm going through the same experience. I looked at a piece of land today and I showed it to my dad. It had a house and all that. And my dad is very interested in buying it for, so I'm like, oh, great. So I'm trying to make the move. So it has
okay.
1,500 square feet home, very nicely built. It has a year-round spring, meaning that the water is coming down from the Sierra Nevadas. And it's 42
Wow.
acres, 42 acres. And
Hey,
and it's off the grid, totally off the grid, meaning there's it's powered by solar, diesel generator, and then diesel generator and batteries. So it's totally off grid.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting that you mentioned that today
You know,
about the land.
yeah, that's
I
true.
have 10 acres in
Nice.
Saranagati, I have
Yeah.
10 acres of land with a big house in Saranagati. The neighbor has 5 solar panels on his roof. He powers his washing machine, everything, lights, everything, his entire house, just with 5 solar panels and big batteries.
Yeah, that's exactly the setup they have. And I'm trying to acquire that. So let's see what happens. If that works out, that it's great. So I'm working on that behind the scenes. So let's see what happens.
How far away from where you live is it?
It's not so far. Maybe about less than 2-hour drive. It's outside the
Okay.
city. It's outside the city. It has green pasture lands, nice grass.
North,
So
north, south, east, west? Which way is it?
I'll have to look at the map, but I'll find out. No, I'll send you some videos.
Well,
I took some videos.
is it aiming towards Nevada or is it aiming towards
Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada.
It's aiming, it must be east of you.
Yes, Sierra Nevada. Yes.
Sacramento.
Yes, east of Sacramento. So
Yeah,
it's
I have
right.
a nephew who lives in a town called Volcano in next to Amador County.
This is
No,
Camden.
he's in Amador County, next to Calaveras County.
So And
Very
that
nice area.
yeah, it's a year-long spring, and it has a home there, fully, totally off grid. There's nothing connected, and so let's see. I'm investigating. They're asking about 399,000. So I'm like, 300,000. I'm trying to get it for.
My God, that sounds in Los Angeles. That will just get you the house.
Yeah, and it's totally, it's very nice. I'll send some videos in the WhatsApp.
Yeah,
So-
that'll be wonderful. But anyhow, Tulsi Patidas, Prabhu, it's wonderful
Yes,
to
Prabhu.
have your association. Have we spoken on this scene before? Or is this your
Yes,
first time here?
we
Yes.
have. I was once there was. I was with my kids and two daughters.
You look
It's
like
like
last
I don't
week.
know.
Oh, that's
Yes.
you. You look
Yes.
Yeah.
totally different now.
He lost
Hey,
weight. Did he lose
Yeah,
weight?
at one time your wife was there
Okay.
also, and
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yes.
that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
you. No, that's incredible. You look like a very different person right now for some reason.
I don't know.
Sure.
It's maybe
Well, you
it's
have
the background.
Radharani over your shoulder, which is good. Very beautiful
Okay.
painting.
Okay,
behind you.
Prabhus.
Sure. Are we complete yet?
Yes,
Or who do
let's
you want-
end it here, and we'll
Okay.
start.
Tomorrow
Okay.
is another day.
I'm good. I'm good. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
All right, Prabhus. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
All
Prabhuji.
glory